What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the second MS Beta Alumni Podcast. I have with me today Will Harris. Will, how you been?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. It's good to be here.
Yeah, good to have you. So if you could just start with what year you were in the chapter and your major when you went to school at Mississippi State, and kind of what you've been up to since graduation up to now.
Yeah, so I was in the chapter from 2017 to 2019. I graduated with a degree in, uh, wow, I'm blanking on my degree. It's 11 at night here. Uh, kinesiology. Graduated with a degree in kinesiology. After graduation, I commissioned as an officer in the active duty Army, a medical service corps officer. So spent the last year in South Korea at Camp Casey. It's about 10 miles from the DMZ. I was the battalion medical officer for the artillery there. And now I'm here in Vicenza, Italy, and I'm a battalion medical operations officer here. So living the life.
Yeah, traveling the world.
Yeah.
And you said, so it's 4 o'clock here in Starkville. You said it's 11 o'clock there?
It's 11 at night. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Sorry about that.
That's good.
Um, So speaking more on your time in the chapter, you were one of those first guys that were in the startup there in 2017, were you not?
I was, yeah. Funny story about that. I was in Starkville Cafe and I see these two guys in there and they're wearing SigEp polos. I'm like, SigEp? I don't think they're back here at Mississippi State. And I go talk to them and it was Jason, Esau, and Peter. I'm like, are you guys SigEp? So like, yeah, we're from Nationals. Have you heard of us? I'm like, yeah, I've heard of you guys. I've been very interested. And, I was the second bid given out. So early days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are yeah, we've come a long way since then. A lot of those first guys that were in that group, like Jamie Garcia and Noah Booth, and them were all fixing to graduate. So it's kind of cool to see that first group of guys, our first real freshman class is all graduated
Mhm.
in a couple weeks. So what was the chapter size? Obviously, you were there when it was at zero. So do you remember what the chapter size was when you graduated?
Well, the end of that year, it was 4. And then when I graduated, we might have been in the 30s at that point. I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure. Which looking at that, that's still tremendous growth.
Right.
In the span of a semester, 2 semesters, it is awesome.
Yeah. Do you remember what semester you graduated?
I graduated in the spring semester of 19.
Okay. So I actually joined in the fall of 2019. I don't know if you remember putting me through my Sigma ROP there that first semester with Ethan Rushing, but
Mhm.
that sounds about right. We were at about 30 guys that spring semester, which was a big deal even to me because I joined, we were at 20, and to get to 30 by the end of that year, and then that next fall was when we really kind of blew up a little bit, when we had our first really good fall rush. So Will, why did you choose SigUp when you were, obviously you started here not being in a fraternity and SigUp wasn't really even an option. What made you choose, what made you decide to go down that path of becoming a SigUp?
Reasons. One, family. My dad was from Mississippi State, back in the day. And so I've always looked up to my dad, obviously, and I wanted to be like him and kind of follow that path. And two, when I saw that they were coming back and I took that time to learn who SIGEP was and what they were really about and the new balanced man structure of the actual chapter and fraternity in general, I was like, that's something that I could really get behind. That was right when I got back from joining the army, and that experience grew me up, and I had new ideals, new principles, and that really fell in line with kind of who I was trying to become as a man, and it was just really appealing to me.
Yeah, I get a lot of the, we have a lot of guys who join this chapter who say that. I feel like that's kind of the common denominator is the way we develop our members, and giving people opportunities they wouldn't have elsewhere is kind of our thing around here. So what would you say is your favorite memory from your time in the chapter?
So one of my favorite memories would be the time, I believe it was in 2018. I've always been a big paintball player. That's one of my things. And we had a bunch of guys from the chapter, if not all of the guys, that came down to Brandon, Mississippi, and we played paintball. And it was Jason, Peter, Cam from Nationals, and then all the guys from the chapter, as well as some potential candidates that wanted to join. And it was just a blast, literally and
Right.
figuratively, going out there, just having a good brotherly bonding experience.
Yeah, that's something we've done that a couple times since I've been in the chapter. I know
Awesome.
summer we took some of our finalists for the Balanced Man Scholarship and all the people who were interviewing them for the scholarship, and we actually went to Tuscaloosa and did paintball there. And that was a real good time getting to talk to some of those newer guys in the truck on the way down there, and then obviously, tearing it up out there playing paintball with each other was
Mhm.
a lot of fun. So how would you say that your time in the chapter and being a SigEp helped you since graduation in your career or in the Army?
Well, so part of being an officer, you're a leader, right? And it's a interesting challenge being an Army officer is the fact that I'm 25 now, but when I commissioned, I was 23 years old, and looking at it, you've got soldiers that are in their 30s, even in their 40s, but they fall under your purview. You're in charge of leading them, protecting them. You're responsible for their life. And what qualifies me, this 23-year-old fresh out of college, to tell this grown man what to do in order to accomplish this mission? And being part of SIGEP, it gave me that edge up. I had been a leader before because I was pushed and challenged by the program in general to be a natural leader, and it just really gave me a lot of experience with personnel management and then prioritization and just that ability even to communicate with people. How do I know my target audience? How do I get the same message across but portray it differently to make sure that everyone understands? And that's what I learned to get.
Yeah, that's something I'd say I've definitely learned myself. Looking back at me when I was 18, when I first joined the chapter compared to now, I'm, 21, fixing to graduate about a year from now. The leadership skills that I have and just like the general, I don't know, talk like communicating with adults is skills that I would not have had, had it not been for this chapter. And it's something that I really appreciate. And I'm glad that a lot of our guys get that same feeling. So Will, if you have any stories, a story about a brother from, when you were in the chapter.
So yeah, I got one.
Okay.
I'll start with this one. It's a funny one. So you mentioned Ethan. So it was, and I'm pretty sure it was the Sigma Rob. Even he had a Forerunner, Toyota Forerunner, and something fell through with the truck that we had traveled with our chest in that we used to carry things, and so he was going to put it in the back of his Forerunner, and he put it in the back. He's about to close the back trunk. I'm like, Ethan, I don't think you should close that, man. I don't think it's gonna fit. He's like, nah, I got this. It's gonna fit just fine. He looks at me with this big old smile on his face, and he closes that trunk. Back windshield evaporates. It goes everywhere, and it was just this things. But I guess on a more serious note, story was just kind of those initial beginning days of me, Matthew, Jamie, a couple others, just sitting in an apartment with Jason and Peter, and they always had the biggest paper. I don't know where they got their giant paper. I don't know what their budget huge, but and they would write down all these different. What do we need to do? How do you accomplish this? How do you talk to people? How do you lead? And even a lot of kind of heart to hearts, like, wow, this is hard. Can we do this? Is this a viable option? And it turns out absolutely it is. Seeing the chapter growing how it is, and just is an incredible thing to see it grow. It was awesome.
Yeah. That it's been a long road up to this point. I can only imagine being, even further back, starting from the ground up for real. But we are getting, I don't know if you heard, we're getting our charter back on the 10th of April. We have guys from headquarters coming down to deliver that to us. And I will say you are right about the big paper That's something I've noticed. All the headquarters
Yeah.
speeches and presentations I go to, we pretty much SigEp keeps posted and keeps their doors open for sure. Will, if you have if you have any questions about how the chapter is going now, things are a lot different, I guess, since the time you've been here. We're getting the charter back this weekend, I think, coming up. We're planning on moving back into the house in the fall. We've already started signing leases on that and stuff like that. So
That's awesome.
yeah, we're getting to those days that I guess you and Jamie and all those other guys talked about when you were first getting into the chapter. It's here. And I appreciate the help that you did starting that. And I know that was something that the headquarters guys harped on early on, was the idea of planting trees that you'll never sit in the shade of. And, we've kind of gotten to that point. And I think I speak for everyone in the chapter when we say we really appreciate the work that you guys who have come before us have done.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that quote up too, because if you wouldn't have, I would have. And
Yeah.
and it's great. I personally won't experience as a college student the benefits of what we've accomplished, but I know someday if I'm blessed with a son, and he chooses to be a SigEp, he's set for success because of all the great things that everybody has done thus far, and it's amazing to witness, and I'm just proud to be a part of it. Have my SigEp flag in 3 different countries now.
Yeah.
Maybe can't confirm or deny taking a picture with it in front of North Korea. But yeah, it's great to be a part of.
Yeah. And, if you ever get the chance to come back to this country, if you're in,
Trying to.
yeah, one day, when you get back over here, we'd love to have you come by the house and, meet some of those guys in the chapter now.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Well, that was all the questions I had for you. If you had any questions for me or anything like that.
Nothing right now. No, it's I've been able to keep pretty good touch with everybody, so I feel like I got a pretty good grasp on the situation.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you being willing to come on here. Hopefully this is something that we continue to do, talking to alumni. It's, nice to kind of get a lot of different perspectives from guys that have been at all different stages of the process of, where we used to be and, coming back to campus and, where we're at now is always interesting to hear stories from, all those different times. But I appreciate you taking time out of your day. And, I know it's 11 o'clock there, so I appreciate you staying up to talk to me.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for having me. This is a lot of fun. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, man. No problem. All right. Well, stay safe, and we'll see you when you're back in Starkville.